Hey guys, it's Rhett from the 100 Acre Wood Highlands. I got my regular garden all growing. Things are starting to sprout. My tomato plants fortunately did survive the hailstorm for the most part. It looked like I had one that was broke over, but it's still alive, so I'm thinking maybe it'll pull through. But I've got a whole bunch of different watermelon seeds and pumpkin seeds and winter squash, and I've still got sweet potatoes and some other things that I haven't got planted yet that I really ran out of room for in my regular garden. So today, I've got the tractor hooked up with the tiller, and I want to come through this area and see if I can till me up a brand new spot to plant all that stuff. I've never really had a pumpkin patch or a watermelon patch, but I'm going to see. This spot gets plenty of sunlight. It's in, probably 8 to 10 hours of sunlight all day. It's close to a water hose where I can hook up and keep it well watered, and so I'm going to do my best to till it up and see if we can grow some of that stuff this year. So check it out. We're starting to make some progress on tilling it up. It's probably going to have a lot of grass in it and probably be a pretty weedy and grassy flower bed or garden bed, but I think we'll be able to plant some pumpkins and watermelons in this, and probably going to mound up areas to plant the seeds in and then space them out, thin them out as they sprout, and probably put some soaker hose or drip tape or something like that along through it, because watermelons and pumpkins take a lot of water. And so I'm probably going to do a little bit more tilling in this area to try to get some of this grass and big clumps out as best we can, and then we'll get started on planting. Okay, so I got the garden tilled up as best I can. It's not perfect. There's some grass in it, and there's some leaves in it, and it's just old red dirt. It's just kind of clay and not the best in the world, but I think that it will probably work for what I want to grow. I might have to come through and put some fertilizer on it and different things like that, but we'll give it our best shot. So I was going to show you guys a couple of things that I'm going to try to plant. I have a variety of different watermelon seeds. I've got some Jubilee seeds that I picked up the other day. I've got some Sugar Baby seeds we're going to give a try. They look like they're a little bit smaller watermelon with a darker rind. I've got some Carolina Cross. They look pretty big. Some of these watermelon look like they're 90 days to harvest, and some look like they're 100 days to harvest. I've got some pumpkin seeds. These are from Baker's Creek, some Connecticut field pumpkins. I think that'd be fun to grow our own pumpkin that we could carve this fall. And I picked up some winter squash. We got lots of regular squash and zucchini in the other garden that we're giving the Back to Eden method a try on, but I thought, well, this winter squash we'll put over here. And the last thing I figured we'd try to plant over here is some sweet potatoes. Last year I planted sweet potatoes that I bought in pots already starting to grow from Ace Hardware, and they turned out great. I got some great big sweet potatoes. They stored really well, and we ate on those for a long time, but I couldn't find any this year, so I got online and I ordered some sweet potato slips, and they came in a box like this. And when I opened it up, look how wilty these things look. They look kind of pathetic. But the packaging said that they will look pretty poor shape when you get them. But they said that sweet potatoes are a hardy plant, and that if I plant them and water them, they should come right back. And so I got these in the mail yesterday. They're a centennial sweet potato. So I'll put these in the ground today and water them in, and hopefully they'll bounce back. A little bit of an update on the other garden. I have regular potatoes, some new potatoes, some purple potatoes, I don't know, some kind of yellow potatoes, and they looked awful after that cold snap we got. I mean, they looked dead. And so I mounded dirt up on them, and I checked them out just a little while ago, and they're looking pretty good. Some of them look like they're starting to come back. So maybe they're gonna pull through, but I really hope we get some good sweet potatoes this year too. I'm gonna plant most of my watermelon and pumpkin and squash seeds in little hills. And the little hill that you see sometimes in gardens is kind of think about it as an improvised raised bed. If you had some good composted down manure or some really good dirt, you could use that to make yourself a little miniature raised bed for those seedlings. I don't have any composted manure right now or anything like that. I've just got what I have here tilled up in the ground. But I'm gonna make little raised beds because for me, it makes it easier to identify where I have planted little seedlings, so I can keep an eye out for them, know exactly where to water, and hopefully it'll also keep them from getting washed out if we get a really hard rain here. That's happened to me before. I've planted seedlings and got really strong rain here in Oklahoma in the springtime and just washed out my whole garden. So I'm hoping these little mounds will kind of help me protect these plants a little bit longer until they get established and get going. All right, I have 14 mounds made here in my first row. I'm gonna come through and probably put 2 to 3 seeds in each one of these mounds. That way if one doesn't germinate, we got another one, or you know, we can kind of pick and choose and thin out to the best producing vines that sprout up. And then watermelon and pumpkin vines can spread pretty big, so I'm gonna space my next row over pretty good distance away and make some more mounds. And we'll come here and put all the different watermelon and pumpkin seeds in. I kind of like the idea of having different varieties of watermelons growing in here. They're all seeded varieties, but you know, I don't know which one works well in this area, and so I think having several different types is gonna give me my best chance of actually harvesting some good watermelons. So I planted 5 mounds of the sugar sweets. Then I planted 5 mounds of the Jubilee. And then I opened up this bag of Carolina Cross seeds. And there was only 5, really like 4.5 seeds in there. So my last 4 mounds, I'm gonna put 1 seed each, and hopefully they will germinate. Well, we've got our rows spaced out, our mounds made. We planted 14 mounds of watermelons. Planted 7 mounds of pumpkins and 7 mounds of winter squash. And then over there we have 14 sweet potato plants. So we're gonna get everything watered in. And then we have a few seed startlings that we started in a kitchen that we're also gonna plant and see if they make. These are some of the pepper plants that we planted from seeds. I'm pretty happy with them. They've been under grow lights on the kitchen counter, and they've even got little bitty flowers on top like they're getting ready to start producing already, but I think they look pretty good from starting from seeds. So we're gonna go plant those out today too when we get done here in this garden. So now, after having a day of snow in the morning in April, then a hailstorm, looks like now we have a rabbit. So I'm gonna go around the perimeter of the garden with some chicken wire to try to save what's left of our kale and cabbage before that dang old rabbit gets everything else that's growing in here. So last year I didn't really seem to have a problem with rabbits, but there's definitely one here now. So I got this big long roll of chicken wire. So I'm just kind of unrolling it around the perimeter, and then every 10 or 15 feet or so putting a little wire on it to hold it up. And this roll of wire may not be enough to go around all the garden, but at least gets us something on there tonight to help protect it. So working in the garden, you know, I've said before, messing with the cows and playing in the garden and just being outside is my relaxation time. But it has definitely got a lot of work and a lot of frustration at times. You know, so far the garden has just barely started, and we've already had a late freeze in April, a hailstorm. Now we have a rabbit that's eaten half of the kale and the cabbage that's in the ground. And we haven't even got to the time of the year where bugs start to become a problem. And so, you know, there's lots of challenges to doing this kind of stuff, but I still enjoy it. And the goal is I want to get some fruit and some vegetables that we can harvest and have for our family, and hopefully have extra to give away. I'm excited about having the pumpkin patch and the watermelon patch that we planted up in a different area of the property. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, you can find me on Facebook by searching 100 Acre Wood Highlands. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next video.